Tonight, as a former federal prosecutor, I welcome the opportunity to hold Hillary Rodham Clinton accountable for her performance and her character. Hillary Clinton, as a failure for ruining Libya and creating a nest for terrorist activity by ISIS. Answer me now, is she guilty or not guilty? As an awful judge of the character of a dictator and butcher in the Middle East, is she guilty or not guilty? As a coddler of the brutal Castro brothers and betrayer of the family of fallen state trooper Werner Foster and his family, is she guilty or not guilty? Let's face the facts. Hillary Clinton cared more about protecting her own secrets than she cared about protecting America's secrets. We didn't disqualify Hillary Clinton to be President of the United States. The facts of her life and career disqualify her.
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie laid out a case against Hillary Clinton last night. With me now, a former federal judge, House Judiciary Committee member, Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert. Congressman, welcome. What did you think of the New Jersey Governor Chris Christie's speech? Was it on time? I mean, he had the whole crowd going, those chants of lock her up.
He did.
He got a big reaction.
He had the whole crowd. He had the whole crowd going. But of course, if any of those people in the entire convention center were on the jury panel, I have a feeling they would have been challengeable for cause for just a little bit of bias, because I think they pretty well went into this speech having their minds made up. But it is a problem when, they didn't even. The Justice Department didn't even take it to a grand jury, for heaven's sake. You had two political appointees of the president saying, the president says she's good, so she's good. Now, that's not what they said with their words, but that's what a lot of people see, because they are political appointees of the president, and they did what the president said should happen.
Well,
basically.
Congressman, I read all kinds of press, further left to further right, in the middle. I read it all. And even a lot of the so-called liberal press had a very strong reaction to the governor's speech, saying, don't underestimate, and this was mostly, I assume, for a Democratic readership, don't underestimate the power of that moment, in the sense that there's a lot of Democrats, actually, who agree with the sentiment of the New Jersey governor.
It's a great point. No, it's a great point. But they are expressing the frustration of Americans, because whether you're Democrat, Republican, Tory, Whig, whatever you are, when you see somebody who has been extremely careless at a minimum and has put the nation's security at risk, then there does appear to be two standards. You've got the standard for people like they can walk away after doing these kind of things, and then you've got the other standard for rank-and-file Americans who have been convicted when they did not intend to harm America, they made a mistake and took something home, those kind of things, and they paid the ultimate price for it by being convicted.
So, Congressman, let me ask you this. Senator Cruz is speaking tonight. You got the former primary rivals to meet, so we think we're going to have you go to the UN, sir. But do you think that Senator Cruz, having had a closed-door conversation with Donald Trump, thanks to you, will be able to endorse him with enthusiasm and with his heart this evening?
Well, Deidre, you just asked the question that may be the biggest item of suspense for the whole week, because I asked Donald Trump if he would sit down with Ted. He agreed to do that. I had no idea that he would go ahead and ask Ted to speak, even though Ted had not endorsed him. So, I mean, really, I've supported Ted. I think he would have been a great choice. He was my first choice, but Donald Trump was bigger than I thought he was going to be able to be. I mean, I was talking with Mike Huckabee earlier today, and he said, I've never seen a convention out of all those I've been to where a candidate, the nominee, allowed someone else who had not endorsed him to speak. So, Deidre, it could portend for some very interesting times between now and November. And if Trump were elected, Donald Trump doing what other people have not and do not intend to ever do. It makes life much more interesting.
He is taking a big political risk. We are all going to be watching tonight to see what happens. In the meantime, Congressman, thank you so much for the time.
I'm going to be sitting there watching. Thanks, Deirdre. Thanks for your interest.